spent an awful lot of time now on Drive-Thru RPG looking at game modules to find out what I can buy to run through my players. Also, then if I like it, to review it here on the channel. And I've been a massive fan of Warhammer Fantasy role-playing for a long time. One of the most interesting races, especially if you're running the Enemy Within campaign, are the Skaven. They're also one of the hardest things and the most hateful things I come up against when I play Blood Bowl. Looking at you, the Rat Ogre. That is a horrible creature. And the Storm Vermin. Not forgetting the Gutter Runners. Okay, so Skaven exist quite heavily in the world of role-playing for my groups. So I wanted to see if I could put that Skaven Vermintide feel into my next Shadowdark adventure. So say looking through Drive-Thru RPG, I found the Rats of Ul-Gol. Now this, I'm hoping, is going to be Vermintide, not Roland Rat. So what I'll do is let's just jump straight over to Drive-Thru RPG. I'll show you where I bought it, and obviously if after this video you want to buy it, you can pick up a PDF copy and you can get the hardback copy, and the hardback copy currently is on discount on Drive-Thru RPG. So here we have the Rats of Ul-Gol for Shadowdark. So it's currently at silver, which is good. Let's see if we can get it to gold. So what's included in the book? So it's published by Menagerie Press here. It's currently on 5 stars, so it's on 5 out of 5. And it is a Shadowdark compatible role-playing game adventure collection for level 1 to 5 characters. Okay, so that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I'm looking for. It's a starting adventure for first level characters to take them all the way up to 5th. We've got 7 different adventures in this book, all completely different. Some are going down into sewers, as you'd expect. There's going into temples. There's one where you've got to sort of stop killer bees from making tea, and there's even some teddy bears. Okay, so let's just actually jump into the book then. I think I've probably wasted enough time, and let's go and see how the book works, what's included, who the author of the book is. So here we have the Rats of Ul-Gol by William Beers and William Murakami Brundage, I think. So compatible with Shadowdark RPG for level 1 to 5 characters. Okay, so development and editing is by William as well. There's a variety of artists that work out, and the layout as well is by William Murakami Brundage. May have got it, so if I haven't, I apologise for that. So it's printed by Menagerie Press, and the front cover is this incredibly frightening looking, it looks like a rat ogre to me. It's obviously just probably a rat type figure, but it's 6-armed rat ogre. This would be horrific if you came up against this in Blood Bowl. It's probably going to be bad when the players come up against it in this adventure. 82 pages as discussed, so we're going to get straight into the introduction. The introduction and the contents just cover the layout of the book, and then we're straight in then to the 7 adventures. So you will see 8 titles, and that's because Rats of Ul-Gol and the Carrion Ostery, I think that's technically a big 2-parter, which is the title piece of the book itself. We're then into the halls, then sons, and so I'll take you through, because the next page nicely details the introduction, and it just then shows out. So it shows it as 8 adventures here, but technically I think it's probably 7, with these 2 realistically being a 2-parter. Doesn't say for definite, but the way the adventure's written and the way you'll go on kind of says to me. Now, first thing that makes me a little bit sad when I first bought this is I genuinely thought this was going to be a 1st to 5th level 7-part adventure. That's kind of what I was buying. It's not that. If that's what you're looking for, possibly this isn't the book for you. Okay. However, if you want 7 incredibly interesting adventures that all linked together with an ongoing theme, and some of the adventures actually do follow on, and I mean that seriously, because that was the bit that kind of surprised me, because it was what I was expecting from the book. Okay, so the book itself, so it says setting neutral Shadowdark adventures for 1st to 5th level characters, so you can put this wherever you want. And the ongoing theme is the rat folk worship Ul-Gol here. It's their demonic god. A little bit of details down here as well about the god himself. Okay, and he's kind of evil. We're not going to see the god really, he's not going to manifest and murder everyone, but the rat folk, hopefully with that vermintide sort of manic constant throwing at the players, I say. So we've got, it says 8 different adventures. So I'm going to go with 7 because in my mind it's 7, and I'll show you the other reason why I think it's 7 here. So so the first 2 adventures, you're basically down in sewers trying to capture something and deal with the ongoing threat. We've then got the Sun Gulpers, which is your killer teddy bears. It's actually better than that, but they're basically giving this sort of fey sort of tea that corrupts and takes over people. The Threshing Stones is a nice, interesting one because that is up on a hill, so you can see the glowing lights. There's a ritual going on. There's a fog that stops ranged weapons as well. Then get into a temple, which is, so that's a smaller location. Reading the tea leaves is the one that then directly follows on. You've got this addictive tea that is being given out in an earlier adventure, and then finally we've got Brendar's Mine, which is a nice 1st to 3rd level adventure where the players, so the miner and all his humans have been murdered or killed by the rat folk, and you're basically going there to extricate them out. Okay. So this is the reason why I think this, I should say, before I get into this, there will be some spoilers, not deliberately. So if you're a games master or a player and you want to be playing in these, probably this is the time to get out. If you are a games master and you want to run this, stick around. I'm going to try not to spoil it, but we will get accidental spoilers because I will be showing the maps and the layout. So each of the adventures go down a set route. You'll have the players maps, I think it's the players maps, and then the GM map, then players maps, and then all the locations are nicely listed from 1 through to whatever number is actually needed in the variety of the parts. Okay, so I'll show you the reason why I think the first 2 are linked. So each of the adventures will have this. So they've got the Rats of Ul-Gol, which is a 2nd to 4th level adventure. So we'll just roll on a few pages. And then we get to the Carrion Ostery, which kind of continues on, and it hasn't got the sort of the level prerequisites in here either. So it feels like it's a continuation of the same adventure. And the way it's written feels very much the same as well. Okay, so let's just look at the first adventure to see how the layouts are going to carry on throughout it. So we've got here the title of the adventure. We've got how many days from civilization. So this should look very familiar if you're in Shadowdark, and then the overall danger level of the encounter. There is a random table here, so if the players are taking too long, and depending on what time frames the games master decides, obviously Shadowdark has got different time frames for the different danger levels, but depending on how you're going to run it will determine which random encounters come out. Some of the adventures as well will have so sort of a preamble right at the start. This doesn't. This just gets you straight into the sort of the danger and the fighting. One thing I really like about this, and we don't see this in all Shadowdarks, is the range here. So there are certain things like certain channels, and there are ladders and pillars and things like that. So it does tell you, give you an idea. So room 5 here. Let's just go back to room 5. Where is room 5? And it says the pillars are near. So don't step in the green unless you have to. But it's good. As you'd imagine, if you're going to be fighting ratfolk, vermintide roots, you should be down in sewers. So I like the fact the very first opening and the main title of the book is sewers. Each of the adventures tend to have some sort of trap rooms and secret doors as well, which is what you'd expect. Some of them have doors that need keys, others can be picked, okay? So you've got the 2-parter here, and the second one is, so that's a couple of days from civilization, so they're going to go on and follow on to this, okay? So we are then into the Hall of the Zoid Void. So this is the one where the players, so you've got the Chill Sorcerer and her Chill allies dwell down within the sort of deep, dark sort of, well, it's a hall technically, but the rat folk seem to be more servants and sort of subservient to the main sorcerer in this one. So maybe they're not all as bad as you think they are, because of, well, they're obviously easily corrupted to where they sort of are being told what to do. So again, it's a nice twist on where you think they're going to be bad. Get into Sungulpers, which is your level 2 to level 4 adventure, which has got this sort of killer teddy bears. You will basically go into an area that then you sort of go down into the bottom section here. So I'm not spoiling it. Again, I don't think it's overly spoiling the map, because unless you've got some sort of eidetic mind, you're not going to remember the map. But it takes you down. You are trying to stay away from the fey folk that resemble plump teddy bears but are filled with malice. So they reproduce by transforming helpless mortals by drinking their tea, which we'll come on to in another adventure further on. And you got things having like a tea party and stuff like that. So this one's quite an interesting, and I like this one because it's short as well. So I think you'll get that through in probably an hour. I probably should have said actually right at the start, it does go on that most of these adventures you'll get in through to 1 to 3 sessions. Obviously depending on how long your sessions are as well. We've got the Threshing Stone, which is a starting level adventure. So this is for 1 to 3rd level. This is the one that I really like because it will mess with ranged people. So there's a ritual going on the top of a mountain, well, top of a hill. They can see the glowing mist or fog that's in there. So it's got this haze that obscures vision beyond double close. Range attacks have disadvantage or are impossible. So the idea is the players need to go up there and disrupt the ritual as it takes place. So you've got lots of zealots. There's quite a lot of spells and sacrificial stuff. You've got butchers and sheep in pens waiting to be killed. Then Salith's Sky Arc into a temple now. This is a 40-foot domed temple, and then there's a second one that's connected, which is a 20-foot domed temple. So once they're in there, they're not coming out until they've actually dealt with the ongoing threat. Again, more zealots dealing with all the rat folk going on. We're then reading the leaves. This is your 1st to 3rd level adventure, which then we're trying to stop the tea from sort of corrupting, which has probably got one of the scariest it's probably got one of the scariest areas, I think, in my mind anyway. So under this one here, it'll take you down to the wasp's nest, which seems like quite a nasty area. So it's going to be full of, there's quite a lot of wasps, as well as your tea wasp queen here. And because this is a 1st to 3rd level adventure, this could be quite a difficult encounter. It's unsafe, 3 days adventure, so you're going to be a little bit weaker by the time you get in there. But it's nice that it's a completely different type of adventure. And then we've got this last one, which is Brendar's Mine. Again, 1st to 3rd level, where the rat folk have come in, sort of murdered and killed. Same thing, but murdered and killed a lot of the miners in there. Sort of they've all left, and then they're going to pay your adventurers to come and get the mine back and take it back over. There's only a couple of random encounters on this one, but so this is probably where I would start with people. I think it's a nice, easier introduction to what's going on, the way that the rat folk attack, the way they sort of think, and I think to me, this is, the T one's all right, but it's a little, I think that might be a little bit deadlier. You might want to start people at sort of maybe 2nd level. I don't know. It does say 1st level, but that first bit with the bees, the wasps, seems a little bit dangerous to me on paper anyway. And then finally ends, the book closes down with Rogue's Dice, which is a dice game for 2 or more players. So that's it. That's your 78 pages. Say 7 adventures, a 2-parter right at the beginning. I like it. It's not what I was expecting. Because I say from outset, I was expecting maybe I should have read it better. Maybe it didn't explain it fully. I don't know which one it is, but I was expecting a 1st to 5th level, take starting players, have everything I need in the book to take them all the way up to 5th. This isn't that. This is 7 or 8, depending on how you do it. Individual adventures that you are going to have to create the theme to move it on, to go from one chapter to the next. You're going to need a little bit, say, of additional prep work. There's no sort of random tables to get the players to interlink it. But because there's no world, you can easily put these as one-shots. I think you're going to link them in quite to an ongoing campaign nice and easily. It's not going to take that much work to get them out and adventuring in there. But obviously you're not going to, without a bit of additional work, if you're going to do that sort of hex crawl, because you've got the time that it takes to get them to the different places, it's not a complete package, if that makes sense. The other thing I find weird about it, so I'm going to start with one more negative, then get on to the pluses, is the layout of the book. I thought was a bit strange. To me personally, either run it alphabetical, or run it from 1st level to, starting. So say got 2nd level adventure right at the start of the book. Makes sense. This is your main book, the main adventure. That's what the book is called. Then into another 2nd level adventure. We're then into another 2nd level adventure. So that's your 3 2nd to 4ths. We're then into the 1st level adventures. And then the 3rd to 5th. It just seems a little bit random. I'm assuming that all of these adventures can be bought individually. And this is a compendium, really, of sort of the rat sort of campaigns that both Williams have actually put together. I don't know. That is just my theory. So let's just do a little bit of good, because, say, other than layout, and it wasn't quite what I wanted, it looks absolutely fantastic. All 7 or 8 areas are completely different, which is good. You've got the sewer, which you're going to want. You need to go into sewers, and you need to go into rat tunnels if you're running a vermintide, rat-infested, attacking adventure campaign. You've got a couple of temples to go in that are going to be shorter and quicker. You've got the teddy bears. The tea one is so it looks a bit deadly, that one, but very, it's just interesting. So it's such a different twist on it. And then the ritual one is the one that I really like, because I having ran the Dungeons of Drakkenheim campaign, where that sort of fog and the haze, if you've ever watched the YouTube channel, it just helps stop, because one of the big issues that you do get in certain games is you can have the ranged person just stood at the back completely, well, unless you're going to sort of sneak around the back and deal with them. But I just like the fact that each adventure's got a different feel. It's really good. It's terribly laid out in my mind. Again, I might be wrong, and maybe just being, and I don't mean to be cruel, because these are people's pieces of work, and I'm not, a bad layout isn't a major criticism of the adventures, but the adventures are really good. I'm going to be running these. I can easily slot these into other things. I don't think you'd ever run it as a 7 or 8 parter, depending on how you're going to do it. But anything addition with the sort of rat folk is very interesting for me. I know my players are going to really enjoy this when I throw this at them, because they hate Skaven as well, apart from Matt, who loves Skaven. They hate Skaven as much as I do. So if you've enjoyed this video, obviously if you are going to buy this, please do use my affiliate link. It does help the channel grow, and obviously because I've had to pay for this, it does help cover and I can then use that money to go and buy other books to do reviews on, so you can see them on this channel. If you've enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe. I've got my own Discord. Come and find me on Facebook and on X, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.